Welcome to Principles of Microeconomics. This is Terry Eland, your professor for this class, which will be held asynchronous online except for the exams. And in this video here, we will go through the Moodle page and the outline together so that you know what to expect. Okay, so in the Moodle page, if I were to scroll through it, this first kind of chunk here, and the video that I'm creating now will be here, is stuff that's going to be useful for the whole semester potentially. And then the remainder lower down here is more based on week by week. There's going to be some repetition. I'll explain how that works. But generally speaking, a lot of the things to get going is up here. So the outline I'll be going through in a second. The Bishop's map is to show you the campus map. If you wanted to come see me at my office, it's going to be the building that's circled on the map. And then you have my notes either in full format or printer friendly format. So if you want to look at it on a computer or cell phone, tablet, you would use this. And if you wanted to print it, you would use this. It's essentially the same thing, except that this is formatted in a 4-slide per page format so that you're not printing out like 300 pages of notes, and that you have room to take notes beside the 4 slides on the page. If you go see, I think it's the bookstore or the print shop, I'm pretty sure the print shop now sent it to the bookstore, you can buy a printout of this already made. They don't charge that much. It's really just based on how much it costs for the paper. Then you have all of my online lectures found on YouTube. Later on, you can have just the individual links, but this is for the whole semester. And then during COVID, I wanted to make sure that people can keep learning without always staring at a screen. So I created podcasts or like audio only versions of the material. This is not as extensive as the notes and videos, but it's a good introduction or a good recap of each of the chapters. So they last maybe half an hour each. You have the link here, or you have the files if you want to download them and use them in areas where there is no service. And with those, you can learn as you're driving along. And when I have these videos here, or these audio segments, I don't assume that you have access to your notes in front of you, whereas when you're looking at the videos, you have to be looking at the screen sometimes to be able to see the graphs. So I try to explain it in a way where I have you visualize, but you're not needing to look at your notes or screen at the same time. And then there's all the assigned questions that you should be doing from the textbook. I'll be getting back to the textbook. And you actually have the answers to review those. So in each of the chapters of this class, some of the material I focus on and some I don't. Compared to other professors, some other professors, I don't evaluate you guys on things that have never been covered in my notes or videos. So if you read through the textbook and you see topics that are not focused on in my notes or videos, you don't have to know them for the exams. Okay, so if ever you get an exam question and you say, oh, this question I don't know how I could have answered with your notes, let me know. I'll review it, and if I can't show you where you get the answer, then I'll give you the point. So it doesn't happen because I make sure that my questions are all relevant to what's covered in class, and in this case here on all the online segments. But generally speaking, this is a good place to review. So why I have assigned questions is that some of the questions at the end of chapters questions are not relevant. They're on topics that will never be evaluated on. And you have access to the answers. Okay. So before I go through the weekly format, I'm just going to go through the outline. So my office is found in Cormier, Lagacé, Dobson, Lagacé, Cormier Center, 201. You could look at the campus map. It's like really close to the Champlain building and the principal's house. It's between the principal's house, I guess, and the gate. So it's that second building on the right. The office hours where I will be in my office, unless I email you guys to let you know that that day I cannot be in, is you don't have to make an appointment. I'm always in the office from Tuesdays from 2:30 to 3:30 and Thursday from 3:30 to 5:15. And you could always make an appointment with me via email for a Teams discussion. And that could be at pretty much any time, like just email me and tell me I have a question. Can we meet? Could be a Monday, it could be any other day of the week. We'll find a common time that works and I will have that discussion with you and I'll be happy to do so. So these are really times where I am in my office, but then any other time is available online. You could always call me to see if I'm in my office, but please do not leave a voicemail because I rarely check those. If you want to reach me or send me a message, just use my email address. So microeconomics, different than macroeconomics. A lot of people, when they think of economics, they think of macroeconomics, which is all inflation, exchange rates, government stimulus packages and whatnot. So in this class here, we're really looking at how consumers make their decisions, how businesses make their decisions, and it's really the foundation of many classes. So whether you are a marketing student or a finance student or many other fields, microeconomics is a foundational course. The textbook that we'll be using is this Reagan textbook, Microeconomics, the 17th edition. Many students always ask, can I use a previous edition? That is fine. Just note that the end of chapter answers are based on the 17th edition. But other than that, you can use previous editions. You don't need the textbook, but I would highly suggest buying a common textbook or accessing someone's textbooks to gain access to the end of chapter questions, which will help you on the examinations. So the course evaluation is based on two possible options. You don't have to choose which one you want. I'll just calculate the grade that you will have in both options, and then you'll get that highest possible grade. You must pass the final exam to pass the class. If not, the final exam grade will be the grade posted. So if you only get 40% on the final, well, you will get 40% in the class. And when caught cheating on any exam, will receive a grade of 0 and will be reported. Sadly, I've had to do this several times in the past. Don't make me do this again. And sadly, because of this and for other reasons, we no longer have access to Proctorio. So all exams, except the quizzes, will all be held in person to minimize the possibility of cheating. So the midterm and final exam will be held in person. So the two different grading schemes both have quizzes. You have 7 of them, 10% total grade of the class. It's just to make sure that you keep practicing throughout the semester and that you're not just studying in one big chunk at the very end. There is some flexibility in that, so if ever you screw up on a quiz or you miss it, well, only the best 5 of 7 will be counted. And then the two grading schemes differ in the sense that you can either have the midterm count and the final, or just the final exam, especially if that midterm date doesn't work for you for some reason. You don't do well. So those are your two different grading schemes. So how does it work for the quizzes? Well, for all of the quizzes, I give you guys as much flexibility as I can so that you have flexibility and when you want to take it, when it fits best your schedule. Sadly, since we had to revert back to in-person midterm and final, that flexibility has disappeared. So for the quizzes, you have pretty much a full week. The last day always ends at 5 p.m. That's just to make sure that if there's any technical glitches, you can reach ITS. For any technical glitches, reach ITS directly and not myself, because I am not a computer expert. I can help you with economic stuff, but for all the information technology stuff, you should reach them. So the midterm is October 28th, which is in the Gator block, so no one has class at this time. And because you guys are a lot of students, it's going to be in 2 or 3 different classrooms on Hamilton. I'll let you know when that date gets closer. but the exam will be held in person. It's going to be an hour and a half. The quizzes are typically 10 questions, and you have 20 minutes to answer. And then midterm and final will be longer. I'll let you know what they look like when we're closer to that date. And that's going to be the case. Final exam is to be determined because I don't have the final exam schedule. It's scheduling that schedules that. They should do that early on in the semester. Normally it was mid time of the semester that we would know. I think now it's a little bit earlier because you guys are so much. It's going to be at the gym, and it's going to be in that final exam period, which spans from December 9th to 20th. So you have to make sure that you do not schedule a vacation at that time. If you're not available in that time, well, there's nothing I could do for you, to be honest. So make sure that you're available throughout that whole final exam period. If ever you're not pleased with the way this class is scheduled and the midterm and so on, well, there is another microeconomics alternative open to you with Dr. Spruill, which is completely in person. Okay, final exam is going to be the larger sum. No makeup exam, no supplemental exam. Calculators are required, but no cell phones, no graphical calculators, and the student ID card is required for all exams. Okay. So this is pretty much the setup of the whole semester, which chapters you should be covering for each of the weeks. Naturally, because the midterm is a little late, that's because I could only schedule it during the Gator block. The previous Monday, the 21st, is reading week, and the Monday before that is Thanksgiving. That's why it's the 20th. So by the time we do the midterm, which is up to chapter 7, you will likely have covered more than up to chapter 7, but that's the only parts that will be covered in that midterm. Okay. Coming back to the outline. So every week, how does this work? These notes here that you see are within that larger block that I had early on, the 102 notes in full format or printer friendly format. It's just to say, well, these are the notes to be covered in that week. It's just a cutout of the larger document. These are the videos to be covered, which is again a cutout of the videos found on that YouTube link higher above. What's new in this section compared to that initial block is the practice quizzes. So for each of the chapters, I believe maybe except one, you have a practice quiz, which typically consists of 5 questions, and the ordering will always be different if you do it many times. You have unlimited attempts. These have no value in terms of your grade, but they have a lot of value in terms of preparing for the quizzes, because some of them sometimes are questions that resemble really well the questions that you'll have in the actual evaluated quizzes. So make sure you do these. These are very important for you guys to do. And it's just information I expect you to have done to be ready for the quizzes and exams. Once you've done these, and if you do them afterwards, you should be able to review which questions you got right or wrong. If you ever get questions wrong and you're still not sure after reviewing your notes why you got them wrong, I actually made videos explaining how my thought process works to answer these questions. So you could look at these videos to understand what was the right answer and why was that the right answer. Then afterwards, I sometimes link either video links or article links. It's just articles. These are older articles and videos that link the theory that you see in that week to practical applications. So far, I'm not evaluating you guys on these links, so see it as like an extra link to material and stuff that you see in real life, but it's not a requirement. So every week is collapsible. You could just kind of close this off and then go to the next week, and it's the same pattern that repeats itself. Always the notes, then the videos relevant to that week, practice quiz answers, article, and then every second week or so you have an evaluated quiz with that time block. So you have 20 minutes when you start, and you could start anytime in that range, but it needs to be finished by 5 p.m. on the final day. So don't start at 5 p.m. minus 1 minute and expect to have 20 minutes. You have to be done by 5 p.m. Okay. Same pattern repeats itself over and over again. So hopefully this has clarified what to expect for this semester. Principles of microeconomics. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out. I'll be happy to see you guys in person on the midterm and the final, and in person in my office if you choose to come and see me for some questions, or online via Teams. Have a great day. Have a great week starting at Bishops, and all the best.